beep, beep, beep. Breaking Jester news. I know it's close to Christmas. There's a few more videos to come, and then there'll be my last one of the year, which will mean I'm disappearing until January. Yes, I may do the odd one. We'll see. But today we have breaking Jester news. You know I love a good Jester special. Well, we got one for you. Released on the 18th of December, which is today, and you know, potentially alongside the school's guidance, which is coming out, as you're aware. School's guidance is coming out, and oh, glorious day! This is great. What we've got here, links are in the dubris, right? What we've got here is an update of the public sector equality duty. They don't like it up 'em. So, public sector equality duty guidance for public authorities. Now, here's how the public sector equality duty works. You imagine I've set up a company called Rub Your Legs Limited, right? And I'm dealing with people's legs for the NHS service. They come in, we give their legs a good rub in, they end up getting better, whatever it may be. I'm covered by the public sector equality duty, even though I'm a private company. Everything above that is also covered. So if you're the DWP or HMRC, or as I call it, DWIP, or the HMRUC. So DWIP and HMRUC are covered by the public sector equality duty, as are the Ministry of Defence, any other public body whatsoever, and any other body that receives funding from a public body to do a public service. Schools covered by the public sector equality duty. This is glorious, right? By the public sector equality duty. And, so every you know what I mean? Organisations that are tied to public money effectively would do well to follow the public sector equality duty. So, Kenny has sent out a letter. A letter has gone out. So, which points towards new general duty guidance in the letter. Okay, so I thought, well, we'll have a look at the guidance. See what's going on as of the 18th of December, right? So they've changed it to say, how do you deal with the guidance? And explains to you briefly, so it's worth a read, the whole thing, the background of the duty, which was consolidated over 40 years of domestic equality law into a single act. This is the Equality Act. And what they want to make particularly clear is that the Act covers everyone. It doesn't allow for some kind of hierarchy of rights, i.e. intersectional bollocks. No intersectional bollocks because of the public sector equality duty, right? So all this business about, well, I'm more of a victim than you are and you're more of a victim than I am, which is all done in the name of equality of outcome, equity, which kills, of course, is in effect given a bit of a dusting down by the new update, okay? So it says here, are you bound by the duty? So as a public authority, you are bound by the general duty. And there is no case in which you are not bound by it, right? And the general duty is to eliminate unlawful discrimination, harassment, victimisation, and any other unlawful conduct prohibited by the Act. Advance equality of opportunity between people who share and people who do not share a relevant protected characteristic. Foster good relationships between people who share and people who do not share relevant protected characteristics. These are sometimes called the three aims of the duty. You see, you do understand here. Public sector equality duty. Let's just get this absolutely right, they said, by beginning with the relevant protected characteristics are as follows. Age, disability, gender, reassignment, pregnancy, race, religion or belief, sex and sexual orientation. Someone has a protected characteristic of gender reassignment if they're proposing to undergo or undergoing or having undergone. You all know the story, right? Okay, so that's fine. Marriage and civil partnership is protected. And all of these things must be considered when, for example, making decisions or taking actions or having things going on in a public sector equality covered organisation, right? So it's got all about how to apply this particular lawful guidance to your organisation and when you should look at it and when you shouldn't look at it. So it gives you a lot to chew over. So all about, let's just have a look and see here what we've got. What happens, because this is the interesting bit, what happens if you do not comply with the duty? Well, they can assess, the EHRC can assess your organisation's compliance, require you to remedy the failure, apply for a court order if you still fail to comply. So this comes with teeth, right? It's not like some limp thing that's just flapping away in the wind, right? So then they've got a nice little section on Mythbusters. So myth 1, the general duty does not apply to my routine operational decisions. No, it does. Right? Every decision. Okay? So they give an example. In an application for accommodation, a homeless man told a local council that he had a mental health condition. The man's GP told the council the same. The council did not ask further questions about the man's condition, but his condition could have affected the result of his application. The council should have made further inquiries. That's one example there around that there. And the next myth is, I'm working on a high-level strategy, so I'm above the level of the general duty. No, you're not. You're still covered. There are no exceptions from the general duty in relation to a higher-level strategic decision. However, it may be that it is practically difficult to assess the impact in detail at the strategic phase. If that is the case, you should take a pragmatic approach and acknowledge the known impacts, even if you're unable to provide more detailed consideration. You can then return to those impacts when the strategic decision is implemented. So in other words, what they're saying is, you don't get a free pass. There ain't one. That includes you all. Schools, the DWP, the Mucker, and other various acronym-named public institutions. All right? Myth 3, my favourite. I'm treating everyone the same, so I've met the general duty. Not how it works. Treating everyone the same is equity. We don't do equity, we do equality of opportunity, right? It's not about equal or equity, it's about equality of opportunity. Like other anti-discrimination laws, the general duty does not require you to treat everyone the same. In fact, sometimes you should treat protected characteristics differently. For example, some authorities treat disabled users more favourably than non-disabled users, or provide women-only services for victims of sexual or domestic violence. Women-only services. Boo. Myth 4. I have to weigh the equality of outcomes of every option. Equity. I have to weigh the equality of outcomes of every option. It would take forever to assess the outcomes of options you are not considering. Stick to the decision at hand. Glorious. Right, okay. Then it's all about, this duty requires me to take positive action, which is myth 7. I'm not going through them all. Positive action means measures permitted under the aim to either A, alleviate disadvantage or underrepresentation, meet the particular needs of those who share a protected characteristic. It may be appropriate to consider positive action as part of the second aim of the duty, where adverse impacts have been identified, or to consider whether positive action could help you to achieve your equality objective under the specific duties. However, the duty is not a positive action programme, and the use of positive action is voluntary. Positive action must balance the seriousness of the disadvantage suffered, or the extent to which people with a particular protected characteristic are underrepresented, against the impact that proposed action may have on other people. In other words, stop gerrymandering race. And for the cream on the cake of this Jester special, I give you the coup de grace. How about you? Myth 8. I must consider other demographics beyond the protected characteristics. Unless there is a clear correlation with a protected characteristic, considering demographics that are not protected characteristics will not help you to comply with the duty. In fact, it could obscure compliance in your supporting records. Examples of demographics that are not protected characteristics, and i.e. ones that will cause problems if you elevate them instead of sticking to the protected characteristics. There is a list of demographics that are not protected characteristics, including, wait for it, class, gender identity, and so on. So from my perspective, as an overexcitable, fat 59-year-old child, if you've got an affinity group in your public sector equality duty liable company or organisation, in fact, if you've got an affinity group in any organisation, you should take this as best practice, it's time to shut it, right? So if that affinity group is looking to put Q plus hands, knees and bumps, daisy people, shut it. If it's about race, shut it. If it's about sex, that's different, because sex is a protected characteristic. It'd be interesting to see what's going on there, but I would say shut it. There should be no affinity groups, frankly. So, yep, that's it. If you've got an affinity group, the chance starts breaching the equality duty, and what I would suggest you do if you're a public sector organisation employee is that you complain to the EHRC. Is it EHRC or ECHR? Cultists Commission of Human Rights, CCHR now, because they've got the ability to bring charges or to say hello. What you doing, you bunch of nutters, right? This, in my mind, and I'm waiting to be told wrong, mind, because there'll be Audrey and all these really, really good high-end equality people, rather than storytellers like me, who will go, well, actually, Barry, no, you're wrong about that. And I'm quite happy to be told that I'm wrong. From this point, however, from my perspective today, having read it and understood what I can from it, I am telling you, without fear of being anything but an idiot if I'm found out to be wrong, that affinity groups and organisations that come under the public sector equality duty are no longer allowed if they pertain to non-protected characteristics such as gender identity or gender. Look up at the Q+, hands, knees and bumps a daisy. Yeah, you're done, mate. Off you go. What? Have you not seen the letter from Kevin Badenoch? What? Yeah. Goodbye. Your affinity group is now closed. Thank you for your time. Let's see where it takes us next. Let's see who will next breathe fire into this conversation. Perhaps Michael Ferran or Audrey or somebody else who understands it better than I do. But for me, this is fantastic news and a brilliant Christmas present. Couldn't have asked for more. Let's wait for the school's guidance to come out next. Up 'em! I say, give it up 'em! I'll see you later.